Alright, so page 127 is all about compound interest. And compound interest occurs when the interest is calculated on both the principal amount and the accrued interest so far. That might be a little confusing to understand, but compound interest is, for example, if you put some money in the bank, let's say $100, you get some interest. And compound interest means you keep getting interest on top of your money. So the first month you would get 100 plus your interest, and on the second month you would get interest on whatever you have in the bank, which happens to be 100 plus interest from the first month. So your money keeps growing and growing and growing. So the P is for your initial amount. R is your rate, and it has to be in decimal form. N is number of times compounded yearly, and T is time. So just to teach you properly, I'm going to go through these. Alright, it says, and the formula, is final amount is equal to principal times the quantity 1 plus rate divided by n, close parentheses, to the nt power. Seems a little complicated, but I think you'll get it. Alright. Laura deposited $12,000 into an account. If she deposited that amount, that means out of this whole formula, they just told us P, because that's what she deposited, that's what she started with. That earns 8% interest. So that's 1 plus, and then here you're going to do 0.08, because don't forget your interest has to be in decimal form. Okay, and then it says how much money will she have in 5 years. So 5 years right there is your time. Hold on, that's a little ugly. So 5 years, and then it's compounded quarterly. So when something is compounded quarterly, that means it's compounded 4 times per year. Just like having 4 quarters in a dollar. So your N is 4. So that means this is a 4, and this is a 4. Let me make that a little clearer. And you're looking for your final amount. So your money is definitely going to grow, because if you look inside the parentheses, it's 1 plus. And we learned that that is exponential increase. So I plugged in everything, and just to teach you how to properly put it on the calculator, you have to do 0.08 divided by 4 first. So you have to do this part first. Your second part would be to do inside the parentheses. Then your third part would be 4 times 5. And then your fourth part would be this whole thing all together. And your final would be to multiply by 12,000. I just wanted to show you that because many people know how to set it up, but they put it incorrectly in the calculator. And if you did get the right answer on the calculator, it should have been $17,831.37, which is a big growth. You know, for 5 years, you went from 12,000 to 17,000 and change. All right. So I think we're getting the hang of this. Now we're talking about Jack. So for Jack, he took out a 6-year loan for $25,000 to purchase a boat at 4.5 interest rate. If the interest is compounded monthly, what will you have to pay in total over the total course of the loan? All right, so then that means that out of our equation, A equals P 1 plus R over T NT, we're trying to find out how much he's going to pay the loan. When you take out a loan for $25,000, that doesn't mean you're going to pay $25,000. That means you're going to pay $25,000 plus interest, because nobody's going to lend you money for free. So that's why we're looking for A. And then for P, it's $25,000, because that's what your loan started with, 1 plus. Now your rate is 4.5, but you have to change it to decimal, so it's 0.045. And then your N, it says monthly, how many months in a year? 12. So there's a 12 there, and there's a 12 there, and then 6-year loan, you have to put a 6 there. That is the correct way of setting it up. And if you did everything correctly, especially on the calculator, you will get 32,732.58. Oops, sorry. And that's your final answer for that one. All right, now number 7. So for number 7, we have an investment account pays 3.9 interest compounded semi-annually. If 4,000 is invested in this account, what would the balance be after 12 years? So again, we're solving for mysterious A. And the reason I know that is because they want to know the final amount after a few years. But they already told me that they started out with 4,000. So 4,000 your P. Your R is 3.9 as a decimal. And then compounded semi-annually. Semi, like semicircle, that means 2, because 2 semicircles make a circle. So your N is 2, which means this is also 2. And it says 12 years. So that's how you set it up. And your final answer would be 6,358.48. Okay, let's go to number 8. Okay, so for number 8, we are talking about a savings account. And then we have to plug in all our information. A savings account offers 0.8 interest compounded bi-monthly. If Bob deposited $300 into this account, how much interest will he earn after 10 years? So here they're trying to trick you, but let's see if we can figure it out. I don't know his final amount, so A is still, mysteriously empty. P is 300. R, you have to do 0.8 as a decimal, so it's 0.008. When it says bi-monthly, that means 2 times a month. So 2 times a month, and there's 12 months, that means 24. 24 goes there, and then 10 years. So first you have to do this. And when you do this, you get $324.98. That's not your final answer. Your final answer here, I'll write in red. It says how much interest will he earn. So your final answer, you have to look at how much you ended with, how much you started with, and just subtract them. Because technically that is all interest. That's all you are gaining just by leaving your money in the bank. And that's your final answer for number 8. Okay. Then for number 9, that is what your assignment is going to be on today.